Hi everyone, how are you? I wanted to share some information about the upcoming new moon and solar eclipse. The energies have been intense to say the least. I've been searching for a better word, and I feel that perhaps I've almost overused that in the last few months. But I haven't got a better word at the moment. We've had so much going on. And I've been obviously sharing bits over the last few months and noting the all the things that were going on individually. Whilst I was aware of all that, it's not until you're actually in it and experiencing it, and we experience the momentum and the accumulation of the energies, and you start to experience it sometimes that you realize the vastness or of something. It's a bit like there's a degree of momentum is built up with this as well. And obviously there's a lot going on in the world, but there's a lot of positive as well. And I'm trying to convey what's going on through the monthly astrology. It's almost difficult to do to a certain extent. And I've probably written more words this month than I ever have around the eclipses in particular. So we've had already this month, the month started with Saturn retrograding back into Pisces on the 1st of September. And that in itself was the start of one of these things coming into alignment. And that was reactivating what was happening, all the what was happening earlier in the year. I don't know if you remember me saying about a lot of owed karma coming up and the chance to step off the karmic wheel. That's because we had a lot going on where the last few degrees of Pisces were being activated. So Saturn and Neptune, in particular, the bigger players, the faster moving planets sort of went ahead and they retrograded. And then we had the Saturn and Neptune as two of the big players reaching the end of Pisces. They've gone into Aries. Now they're retrograding back. So we're having a reactivation of these last few degrees of Pisces, which it is the end of the astrological wheel. And as such, they represent the last few degrees of the cycle. We can end cycles of karma with these activations that we've got now. So that was the first thing, Saturn on the 1st. We then had a very powerful total lunar eclipse on the 7th of September, and that was one of the longest total lunar eclipses that we've had for a very long time. It's the middle of three total lunar eclipses in a row, which in itself is very unusual. And each one of those is a mini reset point and reactivation. And that was followed 2 days later by the 999 portal. Now, having had Lionsgate portal last month, which was powerful. So we've had from the 7th now leading up to the new moon is a time of reset and release. Please follow any instincts with regard to releasing anything. So if you're drawn to declutter, clearing out the closets, old paperwork, clearing energies, clearing physical, emotional, mental, anything that's sort of rising of old energies, old situations that reoccur where you can spot the theme, please do what you can to release those. And we've got at the weekend not just the new moon and the eclipse, solar eclipse, which obviously balances out the full moon and lunar eclipse, but that occurs on the last day of this astrological quarter, which began at the solstice and will take us through this next quarter. So it's like we've got, oh, the other thing I think I forgot was to say that Uranus went retrograde the day before the full moon and eclipse. It was like that was something else coming into place, coming into alignment, helping us to bring in those energies of change and clearing, shaking things up, if you like. Uranus does always encourage us to be authentic. So back to this upcoming weekend, eclipse occurs right at the end of this last quarter, and therefore we've got the beginning of the next quarter, the equinox the day after, and the new moon is in Virgo, and it is a true astrological blue moon, which is when you have two new moons or two full moons within a sign. So back, I think it was August 23rd, we had a new moon right at 0 degrees of Virgo. So that makes room. There is, with the moon's 28, 29-day cycle, means that there is room, space for another one to occur within the same sign. So amazing that it is an eclipse as well. So it's like we're being given another bite of the cherry at embracing these new moon energies in Virgo. And in brief terms, what they are representing is stepping into our highest spiritual service. And this is the point that I really want to get across for this weekend. There are very, very potent energies. You will no doubt be aware that there is a lot of division in the world at the moment. And that represents two timelines in simple terms, not just light and dark. But increasingly, they're representing two timelines. And as at the new moon and solar eclipse, we are at a decision point. Which timeline, which pathway forward, which spiritual pathway do we want to follow? Our guides, all the spiritual assistants we have, they are guides. They can guide us. They support us in whatever decision we make, but they can't make the decision for us. It's not just a decision day on the day, because in effect we have been making that decision, particularly this year, in our responses and our actions. In very simple terms, we're choosing between fear and love. What is happening at this point this weekend is those timelines are really going to start to, rather than at the moment more parallel, what I see is they're more diverging outwards. And it's the equinox on the 22nd is locking in our choice. And so it's like the universe is saying, okay, which way do you want to go? This is it. This is it now. We're this is this is a one-way ticket now. This is a no stop, which you need to decide. also coming in very positively is this is the start of really stepping into our soul mission in this lifetime. This is what it represents. Those of us who are light workers, then that covers is a very broad umbrella term. Star seeds. A lot of us have, this has been enormous preparation, and we felt this call to higher service coming. And this is when it can really, truly begin. Over these coming days leading up to the new moon and solar eclipse and the equinox on the 21st, 22nd, allow dreams to come up, your spiritual ideals in the past, when you've had ideas come to you of what you would like to do if there were no barriers, be it healing, setting up a spiritual center, setting up communities. There's, it's a broad umbrella of things that we can do, how we can help, how we can be of the highest spiritual service. And just think back to the things that you've always thought, oh, one day I would always love to, or if I could, I would always like to. This is it. This is your time. Ignore the self-doubts, ignore the fear, ignore the judgment or potential judgment from others. Moving forward, fear and doubt are the only two things that can derail us from our path. And it's really important that we release, let go of any need for external validation in any way. So dust off the spiritual dreams. What would you like to do? What is your passion? This is not about work or a job. This is true highest spiritual vocation moving forwards. What is your spiritual dream? What are you passionate about? What do you feel passionate about wanting to do? How would you like to make a difference in the world? How can you make a difference with your skill set, your abilities? And start dreaming that and imagining stepping into that. Way back in May, when I was seeing these karmic energies coming up really strongly, I think I did a little video then, because I said about, I could see like these two timelines, and every time we get this doubt or fear come up, to remember that's the old one, step onto the positive one, that the light, step into the light going forward, step onto your into your soul mission. So that's one thing to do, is to start dreaming about what you want to do and to fully embody that in mind, body, and spirit. And the other thing to do is to commit to consciously decide and put it out to the universe, source, whatever you call it, that you choose the path of love. So the path of love is connectedness, merging with source, so that we fully embrace abundance in all areas of our life. We are abundance. We will get increased synchronicities and guidance and support on our path. And this is when, as light workers, as we all begin to step into our true soul mission, which is, in simple terms, helping the planet at this time at this point of time on the ascension path, to take it. It's like getting us over the brow of the hill. That's the way I see it. Once we get over the brow of the hill, it'll be downhill. We will continue to get karma coming up until Saturn and Neptune are back in Aries and established. So there will be still stuff coming up and karma to be cleared through into the new year. And just to say, because I've spotted that, I have increased the number of donation-based karmic healing sessions that I've got on in my calendar. Each month I've made more right up to the new year. Yes, so I was trying to say that as we commit to our spiritual path, our spiritual mission, and what I would simply describe it as the path of love, as we are stepping more into that role, we will begin to find our tribe. And I know a lot of us have really struggled with the feeling of being sort of alone on our, as we've done all our work over the last few years. And in simple terms, again, which I always like, whatever path we choose, for example, if we're doing earth healing, what we'll find is that we find our community, that those of us that will be doing that will be naturally drawn to one another, and we'll find those communities, those groups, and we can share those things together. And the other path, obviously, is the path of separateness, division, fear. Fear is the main one. So that is the energy that we most need to look out for in the coming months. Fear will derail us and take us back into that old timeline, the old energies. So we really have to be really careful that we keep reaffirming and stepping back onto that path going forwards. And one of the other energies that associated with Virgo, at the first new moon in Virgo, I gave one of the themes of mastery of the mind. Make sure the mind is, we are master of the mind, not servant to it. So it's the mind that can derail us as well. So we are moving into a higher mind, if you like. That's one way of describing it. And we have, in general, become more empowered over the last few years. So the other thing going forward to look out for is to drop into your heart. That is where we find the truth and our truth. And on a collective, the awakenings that are going on, our heart energy is growing, is shining ever brighter, is bigger and of a higher frequency, a higher heart really, than ever before. And it is the greatest detector of energies that we have available to us. When we're aligned with that, when we step into our own truth and really connect with our soul energies, falsity and lie and deceit, it's almost like it's really obvious. It doesn't get past us. And that is one of the secret weapons that we have going forward. I am going to set up a crystal grid for the new moon and solar eclipse. And through to one that will encompass those energies through to the equinox as well, which I haven't actually mentioned much, but the equinox is when we decide the path we want to take, what our spiritual service is going to look like or feel like going forwards. And then at the equinox, the universe says, okay, here we go. We're locking you into, that's locking us into that timeline going forwards. And once we're sort of locked onto that, it's like committed to it in a way. Things are going to move quite quickly, and that's when we can really step into our power, our soul mission, our soul purpose. Things will move. I sense quite quickly, especially if we recommit with daily choices going forwards, that show that we are on that path, and we really will have to let some old self-defeating habits go and bring in better routines and habits that align. We have to have mind, body and spirit all better aligned. But this is a gradual process improvement. We're not going to become ascended masters overnight. And never forget how far you've come. All the work that we have all individually done has got us to this point in time and has made all this growth possible. And there's no going back. It's all added like little drops of water. Dripping tap fills a bucket. Drips of change, positivity that we've all added have become an ocean of that is taking us forwards, and we are all contributing to helping the planet ascend. So I will create a crystal grid, and before I post this video, I will add it to the end. So you want to fast forward to the end, please do, and I will put a still of it there, so you can take a screenshot or just pause the video, and you can use that to tune into the energies from any time now up through to the new moon and solar eclipse and the equinox, and the day or two afterwards as well, because there is the sun is sort of stationary energies for a couple of days afterwards. So anytime you are unsure or want to tap into the new energies, reaffirm you're going forwards, please do tune into that. You can always print it off. I know when I've done these before, sometimes people print them off and then add their own personal crystals to personalize it for themselves going forward. That's an excellent thing to do. And just remember to commit, decide which path you want going forwards, and don't worry if you don't know exactly what you want to do. We can ask for that to be shown to us, and quite often that is revealed in dribs and drabs and might come after the eclipse and after the equinox. We might get little bits given to us. Some people already know very surely what they want. It's been coming for some time, but don't worry if you don't know exactly. It's more about stepping into the right energy, the right timeline. Do you want to step onto that pathway? Do you want to, in the future, step into your soul purpose, your soul mission, and be of the highest service, whatever that might look like? So keep reaffirming that and embrace any opportunities that arise for releasing the old in whatever way they arise. And you know where I am. If you want to run anything past me or want any help, as I say, I've got extra karmic cleaning sessions in my online diary. Please feel free to email me if you want any crystal suggestions. I would definitely recommend Brandenburg or Brandenburg, as my good friend Judy Hall used to say, going forward, because that really does align us with our blueprint, and that's what we're doing. Our blueprint is being activated. So that's one of the crystals that can help. But I'm happy to tune in individually if you wish to email me and ask for further recommendations. Than being 999 year, being a 9-year, and we've had 999. The energy of completion, crystal that's associated with that energy, and Lady Portia, especially with who's the patroness of this year, and the silver violet ray. In particular, I recommend Lepidolite if you're trying to release old shadow energies and deep emotional energies. Vera Cruz amethyst, the pale, very pale, and the clear, more feminine version of amethyst would help. And amethyst itself is a simple crystal that we've nearly all got somewhere. Will always help with transformation. And if you've got a crystal that is empowering, that you like to hold, and it sort of makes you feel good, I'm going to pick up a wand I've got here. I've got a couple on my desk, and that one is oh, funny how that went out all blurry there, isn't it? It's got a Lemurian and a particular type of etched quartz there, but they feel quite empowering when I hold them, like wands. Have something like that. Another simple technique would be to have a dark and a light crystal, like a smoky quartz and a clear quartz, and or you could have like a sunstone, moonstone, because there's a lot of masculine and feminine balancing energies as well. So it's talking about balancing the sun and the moon, and as well as yin yang. So dark and a light crystal. You could use ancestral light if you know you've got ancestral energies coming up, and try balancing that with a lighter, more feminine energy like satin spar, selenite, or a mangano calcite, one of my favorite stones that I always recommend, which is less raw than rose quartz. Okay, I'm going to leave it there, so this isn't too long. I hope I've covered most of the basics. There is an awful lot that is going on, and I haven't covered it all. There is obviously, go to the Astrology Wise website and find the current astrology if you want to read more in detail. All right. Whatever you're doing and whatever your decision, be gentle with yourself. Be kind to yourself, and whatever you do, commit to it wholeheartedly. And I'll see you on the other side. Bye for now. Sending everyone so much love and support and appreciation. Bye.